The earliest version of the Bible is in Ethiopia. What are the differences between that Bible?
The Old Testament is from the Ethiopian Torah.
What if the key to understanding ancient wisdom was hidden away, deemed too controversial for the masses? This Forbidden Ethiopian Bible, also called the Metsehafe Qeddus, holds a treasure trove of texts that have been banned by some branches of Christianity. The controversial scripture, rich in history and spirituality, reveals captivating stories of faith, courage, and moral dilemmas. Let's uncover the reasons behind this censorship and explore the profound insights these sacred writings offer to the world today. Uncovering Ethiopia's ancient mysteries. The name Ethiopia dates back to at least the 12th century before the Common Era, placing it among the most ancient names on Earth. This intriguing land lies in the eastern part of Africa, between the equator and the Tropic of Cancer, within the region known as the Horn of Africa. But Ethiopia's significance extends far beyond its geographical location. Its history is deeply intertwined with humanity's origins, making it a land of endless curiosity and wonder. Imagine standing where human history took some of its first steps. Ethiopia's land holds stories as old as time itself, and its influence on Africa and the world has been profound. Former South African leader Nelson Mandela once captured this unique connection, saying, "Ethiopia always has a special place in my imagination, and the prospect of visiting Ethiopia attracted me more strongly than a trip to France, England, and America combined." To Mandela, visiting Ethiopia felt like touching his own beginnings, an experience richer than anything he could find in the West. It is often called a mystery giant because of the historical secrets it holds. It was home to the oldest known kingdom in Africa and one of the earliest monarchies in the world. The only African country to develop an alphabet over 2,000 years ago, Ethiopia remains unique in its history and culture. It also stood out as the only African nation to maintain independence through the onslaught of European colonization, symbolizing resilience and pride. But what truly pulls historians and scholars into Ethiopia's past is the hidden tale within its borders. There's an unsolved mystery about Ethiopia, one that has fascinated scholars and historians for centuries. Just imagine a land that has resisted time's ravages, a place where ancient secrets lie quietly beneath the surface, waiting for discovery. Ethiopia's untold Christian legacy. Imagine a place where Christianity's roots run so deep they might predate even its arrival in Europe. That place is none other than Ethiopia, a nation that holds some of the oldest biblical scrolls on earth, dating back to a time when Christianity was still finding its way across continents. While most of the world knows the 66 books of the King James Bible, the Ethiopic Bible contains a staggering 88 books, some of which are unknown in other Christian traditions. This ancient faith isn't just a part of Ethiopia's history, it's woven into its very soul. The most fascinating part? Ethiopia had these scrolls long before Christianity was officially accepted in the 4th century. This means that, unlike many nations that received Christianity from missionaries, Ethiopia was already nurturing these teachings. Since then, Ethiopia has stood as a Christian nation, holding tightly to its unique spiritual heritage across the centuries. A 6th century monk and historian named Cosmas Indikaplaustis provided one of the earliest accounts of Ethiopia's Christian identity. As he journeyed through the country, he marveled at Ethiopia's dedication to Christianity, noting how its rulers offered sanctuary to Christian refugees escaping persecution in hostile lands. This refuge offered by Ethiopian leaders wasn't just a charitable act, It symbolized the nation's steadfast commitment to its faith, even in the face of outside threats. Even more surprising, some Ethiopian tribes have practiced devotion to the Christian God for over 3,500 years. This lineage upends the common belief that the Catholic Church is the oldest organized Christian body. Instead, that honor belongs to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Its ancient practices and deeply rooted beliefs have persisted, undisturbed by centuries of change. Ethiopia's Christian heritage isn't just about old scrolls or historic dates, it's about resilience. While other countries adopted Christianity through the influence of outside forces, Ethiopia embraced and safeguarded it from within. This legacy of faith has been preserved and passed down through generations, creating one of the most steadfast Christian communities in the world. It's as if Ethiopia is a real-life Wakanda. The country's spiritual journey is filled with stories that inspire awe and curiosity, from Queen Sheba to the Solomonic dynasty. But Ethiopia's story goes beyond devotion. It's woven with legends that link its faith to the ancient world. The Kebra Nagast tells the intriguing story of the Queen of Sheba's visit to Jerusalem, where she met King Solomon. This momentous meeting led to the birth of their son, Menelik. Instead of staying with his father in Jerusalem, Menelik was brought back to Ethiopia by the queen, marking the beginning of a powerful legacy. Upon returning to Ethiopia, Queen Sheba made Menelik the first emperor, thus laying the foundation for the Solomonic dynasty. Menelik's influence didn't stop with his own reign. He established a dynasty that would last for over 700 years. The Solomonic dynasty not only ruled, but also shaped Ethiopia's future and strengthened its empire. The dynasty grew and expanded its influence across Ethiopia, leveraging both diplomatic alliances and military conquest. Menelik's descendants continued to lead the empire, extending Ethiopia's borders and transforming the region into a significant power. The dynasty's most celebrated moment came centuries later under Emperor Menelik II, who led Ethiopia in a historic resistance against European colonization efforts. In 1896, he notably defeated the Italian army at the Battle of Adwa. This victory established Ethiopia as the only African nation to successfully resist European colonization, a remarkable achievement that solidified Ethiopia's independence and pride. This resistance wasn't merely a military victory, it became a potent symbol of African resilience and unity. Menelik II's triumph at Adwa inspired other African nations, demonstrating that colonial powers could indeed be challenged. This pivotal moment instilled a sense of empowerment and pride in Ethiopians and Africans alike. Transitioning from this powerful narrative of royal lineage and resistance, we delve deeper into the historical context surrounding the Solomonic dynasty and its significance in Ethiopia's rich tapestry of cultural heritage. Cultural heritage of Ethiopia. While the nation proudly defended and persevered against the European colonizers centuries ago, it wasn't strong enough to resist the Islamic invasion. In the 7th century, Ethiopia faced fierce invasions from Islamic forces, leading to the fall of the ancient kingdom of Aksum. However, out of these challenges emerged the powerful Zagwe dynasty, a new ruling force that took control from the 12th to 13th centuries. The Zagwe left an impressive legacy, most famously through their rock-hewn churches in Lalibela. These churches are architectural marvels, showcasing unmatched craftsmanship carved directly into solid rock, reflecting the skill and dedication of their creators to faith and culture. Yet Ethiopia's narrative didn't end with the Zagwe. In the 13th century, the Solomonic dynasty rose to power, claiming descent from the biblical King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. According to Ethiopian law, the dynasty's lineage traces back to the legendary Queen of Sheba, who is believed to be from the region now known as Ethiopia. These stories are deeply embedded in Ethiopian culture and are included in the Ethiopian Bible, a text that offers unique perspectives on historical and religious narratives. The Queen of Sheba's journey to visit King Solomon is a tale recounted in various scriptures, including the Western Bible. According to 1 Kings chapter 10, she traveled a long distance to meet King Solomon, intrigued by his renowned wisdom. She brought lavish gifts, gold, spices, and precious stones, and tested him with riddles and complex questions. Solomon answered each inquiry skillfully, impressing the queen, who then reciprocated with treasures unmatched in quantity and quality. Yet, many may not know that, according to Ethiopian tradition, the queen returned home with a son, Menelik, whom she and Solomon had together. Menelik grew up to become Ethiopia's first emperor, establishing the Solomonic line that would govern for centuries. Genetic studies conducted in 2012 provided evidence of ancient Middle Eastern ancestry among Ethiopians, supporting the story of Sheba's journey and her connection to Solomon. Genetic experts studied Ethiopian DNA and found traces that potentially support the Queen's journey to Jerusalem and Menelik's birth there. This genetic connection hints at a historical link between Ethiopia and Jerusalem, adding depth to this already captivating narrative. Despite the significance of the Ethiopian Bible and its unique narratives, this scripture is often overlooked and remains outside the canonical holy books familiar in other parts of the world. Many, even those who share the Christian faith, are unaware of its existence and the cultural treasures it holds. The evolution of the Bible. Have you ever wondered how the Bible became what it is today? The journey of the Bible is full of twists and turns, making it a fascinating story. At first, the Bible wasn't a single book. Instead, it consisted of many different versions and interpretations. Originally, the texts were written in Hebrew, but translations began to spread the messages to wider audiences. One of the earliest major translations was done by Saint Jerome around the year 400. He translated the Bible from Hebrew to Latin, creating what is known as the Vulgate. This translation became the main Latin version of the Bible, containing 20 even books in the New Testament and 39 in the Old Testament. The Old Testament was also known as the Hebrew Bible. In the 1st century, numerous writings about Jesus' life and teachings emerged. However, many of these accounts were not accurate. They were more like modern fan fiction, misleading readers without the ability to fact-check. This spread of false information led to confusion among the early Christians. Recognizing the danger of these inaccuracies, early Christian leaders took action. They met at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD and later at the First Council of Constantinople in 381 AD. Their goal was to decide which books would be included in the New Testament. The leaders agreed that any book included must be written by one of Jesus' followers or someone who had witnessed his teachings. It also had to align with the other texts in the Bible. A significant shift in the Bible's history occurred during the reign of King James I of England. Despite the Vulgate being in use for about 500 years, many different Bible versions were still circulating, causing concern for the king. He aimed for a unified version to resolve religious disputes and reinforce his authority. Some priests suggested that existing translations were incorrect. To tackle this problem, King James commissioned 47 experts to review the various translations. They worked in 6 independent groups for 7 years, following strict rules to avoid bias. Their mission was clear: create a Bible true to the original languages. When their work was examined, it was found to be consistent despite their separation, leading to the approval of the King James Bible, published in 1611. Thanks to advancements in printing, this version became widely accessible. However, both the King James Bible and the Vulgate excluded some texts still found in the Ethiopian Bible. You might wonder why the Ethiopian Bible was overlooked. The main reason lies in the presence of additional texts known as pseudepigrapha, which are falsely attributed writings. These texts claim to be written by historical figures, but are not genuine, resembling fan fiction. This discrepancy was a key factor in the Ethiopian Bible's exclusion. The battle for the Ethiopian Bible. While the Ethiopian Bible may have held immense spiritual importance, during the colonial era, it became a political tool intended to break the country. During that era, European powers, especially the Portuguese, aimed to control Ethiopia and its people. One of their strategies was to ban the Ethiopian Bible. This move was not just about a book, it represented a deeper struggle over culture and identity. The Ethiopian Bible was a vital symbol of the nation's rich history and traditions, and the colonizers saw it as a threat to their authority. By attempting to suppress the Ethiopian Bible, the Portuguese wanted to weaken the Ethiopian people's cultural foundations. They believed that if they could eliminate this symbol of resistance, they could impose their own beliefs and practices. This action was part of a larger effort to convert the Ethiopian population to Christianity, aligning it with European religious norms. The ban on the Ethiopian Bible became a critical part of their strategy to diminish indigenous culture. To further their agenda, the Portuguese established missionary activities, aiming to create European-controlled churches and schools in Ethiopia. These institutions were designed to promote European values over the beliefs held by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. The church had deep roots in Ethiopian society, and the Portuguese viewed it as a rival in their quest for control. The tension between these two religious factions added to the conflict. The stakes were high. By banning the Ethiopian Bible, the Portuguese sought to assert dominance over the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and its followers. This move not only threatened religious practices, but also challenged the very identity of the Ethiopian people. It created uncertainty and fear among those who valued their traditions and beliefs. Would they lose their culture entirely? European missionaries often painted the Ethiopian Orthodox Church as an obstacle in their mission. They believed that by eliminating the Ethiopian Bible, they could make it easier to convert the population. However, this strategy backfired. Instead of compliance, many Ethiopians rallied around their faith, seeing the ban as an attack on their very existence. As tensions rose, Ethiopians faced increasingly difficult challenges. They had to navigate a complex landscape filled with moral dilemmas. Should they fight back against the colonizers or seek a way to coexist? Each choice carried heavy consequences. The internal struggles mirrored the external conflicts, deepening the divide between the colonizers and the Ethiopian people. In this battle for the Ethiopian Bible, the future of Ethiopia hung in the balance. The colonizers aimed to erase a rich cultural heritage, but they underestimated the resilience of the Ethiopian people. With each attempt to impose foreign beliefs, the spirit of resistance grew stronger. This clash of cultures created a rich tapestry of conflict, hope, and determination. From shadows to spotlight. Despite the fact that the Ethiopian Bible holds a unique place in history, its obscurity raises many questions. One key reason for its limited recognition is the language it is written in Ge'ez. This ancient language makes it difficult for many people to access the text, as there are few translations available. Furthermore, the Ethiopian church practices are distinct and different from other Christian traditions, which can create barriers for those unfamiliar with them. Historically, politics also played a significant role in the Ethiopian Bible's obscurity. In early Christianity, the Roman Empire was more focused on power and political control than on spiritual growth. As a result, they excluded certain scrolls that did not fit their preferred narrative. This effort was led by the Bishop of Rome, who even ordered the destruction of non-canonical scrolls. However, not all was lost. Some courageous priests hid these scrolls, leading to the eventual discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls in the 1940s. This discovery was a turning point, shedding light on texts that had been suppressed for centuries. Despite its challenges, interest in the Ethiopian Bible has surged in recent years. Scholars and enthusiasts are now making concerted efforts to translate the text and conduct academic studies. The survival of this ancient scripture is remarkable, especially considering the numerous attacks it has faced. The Ethiopian Bible endured assaults from Muslim forces, as well as Italian invasions. In addition, a devastating fire in the 1930s destroyed the church where it was kept, adding to the Bible's mystique. What makes the Ethiopian Bible even more intriguing is how it survived these historical challenges. Many people wonder what stories it holds and what insights it can offer to modern readers. The Ethiopian Bible is not just a relic of the past, it is a living document that continues to inspire curiosity and research. As scholars dig deeper into its texts, they unveil fascinating aspects of faith and history that resonate with many. The mystery of the banned books of the Ethiopian Bible. While many today are aware of the existence of the Ethiopian Bible and some of its books, there's a significant collection of books that many people have never heard of. These books, known as the apocryphal or deuterocanonical books, include the Book of Enoch, Jubilees, Tobit, Judith, Baruch, Sirach, Wisdom, and the books of the Maccabees. Why were these texts banned, and what do they mean to those who cherish them? The Book of Enoch is fascinating. It is said to be written by Enoch, a figure from the Bible who was taken up to heaven. This book dives into the origins of demons and the Nephilim, explaining why some angels fell from grace. It even offers a unique perspective on the Great Flood in Genesis, portraying it as morally necessary. Enoch also provides a prophetic view of the future reign of the Messiah, which creates a sense of hope amidst turmoil. Jubilees, often called the Book of Jubilees, retells biblical history, starting from creation to the giving of the law at Mount Sinai. It emphasizes the importance of observing the Sabbath and following religious traditions. This book connects deeply with readers, reminding them of their spiritual roots and the significance of faithfulness. In contrast, Tobit tells the gripping tale of a righteous man who becomes blind and faces numerous challenges. Yet, through his trials, Tobit remains faithful and is eventually rewarded. This story highlights perseverance and loyalty, values that resonate strongly with many. Then there's Judith, a powerful narrative about a brave widow who saves her people from the Assyrian army. Judith's courage shines as she uses her wits to seduce and behead the enemy general, Holofernes. This dramatic act of bravery not only saves her people, but also serves as a reminder of the strength that can arise from determination. Baruch is attributed to Baruch, a scribe and companion of the prophet Jeremiah. This book contains heartfelt prayers and reflections about the Jewish people's exile, connecting readers to the struggles of their ancestors. The wisdom found in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus offers advice for leading a righteous life, showcasing practical wisdom for everyday decisions. The Book of Wisdom, also known as the Wisdom of Solomon, reflects on the nature of wisdom and underscores the importance of living virtuously. It challenges readers to think deeply about their choices and the world around them. Finally, the books of the Maccabees recount the fight against the Seleucid Empire and the rededication of the Temple in Jerusalem. This history is celebrated during the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, marking the resilience of the Jewish spirit. The banning of these books by certain branches of Christianity stems from their exclusion from the Hebrew Bible. They were deemed non-canonical, but they hold significant value for many, especially within the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. This situation raises important questions about the intersection of religion and culture. The decision to ban the Ethiopian Bible reflects a long history of colonialism and religious intolerance. It sought to suppress marginalized voices, erasing vital parts of their history and identity. By banning these texts, authorities not only silence Ethiopian Christians, but also disregard a rich cultural heritage. Ultimately, the story of the banned books of the Ethiopian Bible invites us to rethink how power shapes our understanding of history. It emphasizes the importance of recognizing diverse voices and experiences that contribute to our shared human story. The rich traditions preserved in the Ethiopian Bible remind us that history is more complex than we might think. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more